The internet continues to be the gift that keeps on giving me headaches from time to time, but we're going to dive in. If you guys haven't seen, over on the MMORPG subreddit, this is cross-posted over to the Throne and Liberty subreddit, we've got some shade, some doubtful thoughts, some alpha impressions, and we're going to use that in quotes to talk about today, namely because this isn't a positive post, and I thought I'd spend some time today because there are some interesting takeaways and some that I think might even surprise you. And if I do surprise you in this video, sound off in the comments, let me know, because we're going to do a deep dive into the post. We're going to talk about it as it relates to Throne and Liberty, but more or less how it relates to your life and hopefully making your day better. So let's start off this video the way we should have. Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name's Brian if you happen to be new around here, and if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back to another Throne and Liberty video. I'm loving Throne and Liberty as a case study, but also for what it can possibly represent and the mystery that is this MMORPG. And I use mystery in the strongest of terms. Well, we know more about Ashes of Creation, and Ashes of Creation is years away from release, than we do with Throne and Liberty, which is very, very soon. Now, thankfully, I've had a lot of things confirmed to me behind the scenes. I'm not going to quote anybody in this case, but we're going to talk about the alpha test that is currently going on for Amazon. And I knew that we're going to start to see news and leaks, but this one I have to say is pretty suspect. Not that it doesn't necessarily represent truth either. That's what we're going to explore in today's MMO discussion. First and foremost, let's go ahead and set the context. Throne and Liberty, Amazon alpha testers, biggest joke of a PC MMO. Again, I'll include a link in the description if you want to go weigh in on the topic on Reddit. It's up to you. Now, I've heard from multiple Amazon alpha testers that Throne and Liberty is essentially a mobile MMO, ported to and upscaled with the coat of Unreal Engine 4 graphics. All of the underlying systems are extremely mobile-esque, and the only redeeming quality about the game is that it looks pretty. The combat forces you to lock in place and use skills and abilities. There is auto-hunting, auto-casting, auto-pathing, and the people that I've talked to said that they could barely get through playing the first day and have no interest in continue playing throughout the rest of the testing period. This game is shaping up to be the biggest flop of 2023, and NCSoft will have the burning and minuscule amount of trust that they may still have in the West. Amazon Games will be taking a huge L for agreeing to publish this steaming pile of dog turds. So, like I said, the internet's the gift that keeps on giving. First and foremost, let's put a disclaimer out there. If Throne and Liberty isn't a good game, you know what happens? Nothing. You continue to hopefully live your life. Like, at its core, I don't understand the rationale of putting all your eggs in one basket or putting your hopes and dreams in a video game. Now, not that video games aren't fun, not that they're not beautiful, not that they don't build communities, but there is this weird addiction that MMO players have with the quote-unquote next big MMO. This is the cycle that a lot of people go through and putting hope and dreams and efforts. And I think one of the things that makes Throne and Liberty a good candidate for this kind of mindset is that we don't know that much about it. Talking about like locking in place, skills, abilities, like all these things. This is still something that, based off of some video footage from a trailer, the internet is hotly contesting and debating. But beyond the debate, there is good news. And the good news is that we'll soon start to learn more about what Throne and Liberty is. And guess what? Some of the people who are hyped for this and watching this video out of curiosity probably aren't going to like it. And some of you who think maybe you don't like it might end up falling in love with this game. As things become clearer, the illusions that we build up in our minds, the utopia MMO that we build up in our minds, the next big MMO that we build up in our minds starts to crumble, right? Like when we start to compare it. That's what you'll see, and you'll continue to see with Ashes, as it will still be plenty hyped. There's no denying that. But as people learn more about it, same thing with the right MMO. The right MMO is the perfect utopian MMO, and you know absolutely nothing about it. Now, oh, it's set in the lore in the world. Okay, great. You know a lore piece of it. But what is the game? The game is going to be the biggest key takeaway and biggest player out of all of this. Because if it's not a good game, then it doesn't even matter. And it won't matter because no one's going to play it. No one's going to care about it. It's got to have a unique hook. It's got to be fun. It's got to be a good game. Even if it's flawed, which all games are, that those flaws can be refined and changed and morphed. And I never really think about a game's launch as anything else. But will it be the biggest flop of 2023? Like, the whole post here is suspect, in my opinion. The whole thing is really kind of just strange, strangely awarded, strangely written. It's just strange if you were going to label the video, finally an MMO that respects your time. That's one of the most annoying titles that I ever see. For me as an MMO player, I don't want a game that respects my time. I want a game that respects my investment. These are two competing philosophies. We can talk about that more in any other coming videos if you guys are interested in. But beyond that, I have massive doubts from what I've heard. And again, these are just opinions of people, that Amazon would want to pick up a game if it wasn't a good one. Now, regardless of what you think about New World or Lost Ark or Blue Protocol or even Throne of Liberty, there is a value that they see there. There is a market, if you will, for the game. And this is kind of the thing that I like a lot about economics. When I look at this, when I look at economics, where dollars are spent, where action is taken, where it's measurable, maybe it's not even dollars, downloads, activity, hours played. In this case, like hours watched. But the thing I like about the metrics I like to look at on my channels is comments and watch time. Because I historically get very low like to watch ratios, and that's perfectly fine. I historically have a much higher unsubscribed, volume of viewers than subscribe, but I get a lot of search results because I focus a lot on guide content, teaching people things about games and YouTube and stuff. So like beyond that, like all of my stats make sense, but I love the watch time. I love the comments because that's a key part of what I like to make and engage with, talking about video games. That's where we do the comment section videos, which end up being like mini podcasts. But everybody's got the metrics, right? Or they think they do. And the point I'm making here is why I like the economics of all this is that I am going to insult some gamers. But I do see that there's a group of people who call themselves gamers that talk a big game, but they have nothing to back it up. They don't show up. They don't spend money. They don't do nothing but complain on the internet. And they get a lot of internet attention and internet points, right? Like, if you never heard me talk about that, like, attention is the currency of the internet. Right now, you are giving me your attention, and I thank you guys for that. I hope to give you attention back in terms of your comments and responding to them. Like, I hope that ends up being a wonderful relationship, and you can choose whether you want to have that with me or not. But that's why I like the economics of it. Because the numbers for every dead game out there, for every this game sucks and blah, 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 I don't really give a It's like, it's clearly either doing numbers or it's not. It's a very real life response. It's a very measurable piece of data. Because talk is cheap. It is absolutely cheap. But where people choose to spend their time and their money, now that's where it's interesting. So I read this post as a troll post. I read this in terms of that. Sure, there's probably some Amazonians who played the game and maybe they don't like it. Maybe that it feels a little bit of column A or column B. I'm not worried about that. I don't fear about that. Even if the game in and of itself isn't good, if I don't like it, the promise that I give to people in terms of content that I make and when I cover video games with the passion that I hopefully bring to it, that I hope you get my excitement in this, is that if I don't like it, I'm not going to lie to you just for freaking numbers. And that's what I like, to have these real conversations. This is a fun thing. This is a fun time to be in. This post will be forgotten. Or it will be very prophetic. But at its core, people are going to play the game. It will find its community. And it will go from there. I have massive doubts that Amazon, with their plans and what they are working towards, which I've shared before in previous videos, if you guys want to go go check out the library of content, you'll catch on. There's no way in my mind. So I would say that there's going to be people who don't like it. There's going to be plenty of videos that talk about it. There's going to be plenty of videos that are going to label it bad gamer words and talk about like all these different things. But I think if nothing else, Throne of Liberty will find a community. I don't think it's going to be as big as a lot of people and that's the thing. It's like people will beat Throne of Liberty up because of the size of its community. Oh, this game had so many players at launch and now it doesn't. Oh, it must be a bad game. And that's the thing. It's like, I think there's going to be a lot of people who are willing to try Throne of Liberty, who are interested in it because of its mystery. But at its core, I think it's going to really resonate with some people who have really been looking for a game like Throne of Liberty. I don't think we're going to see those like 12 million active concurrent players all the time kind of numbers with any really modern MMO. Blue Protocol has, I don't think they're going to hit those numbers, but Blue Protocol in and of itself, I think is going to be really big because it's going to draw in a lot of Genshin, a lot of Tower Fantasy players. And I think those communities are massive. Like they're not really a part of like, those two games aren't a part of my normal day to day. But I think we're going to see some interesting stuff from Amazon this year alone. And I think Throne of Liberty is a key part and a key player in it. So I wouldn't worry about anybody negatively talking about this game before it's out. Honestly, I wouldn't worry about anybody negatively talking about this game after it's out. It's just talk. And talk is cheap. And that's just how I'm going to end this video of me talking. Guys, thanks so much for your time today. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully you smashed like. Hopefully you'll leave a comment. Hopefully I'll see you in the next video. And then until then, hopefully we'll get news very, very soon. Can't wait to share more with you guys and have a great weekend. Talk to you soon. Bye.